Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a stunning turn, Beijing has accepted Taipei's offer for direct, high-level diplomatic talks without preconditions. This unexpected move has sent shockwaves through the international community, as many had long believed that such a dialogue was impossible, given the historical animosities and political complexities involved. The decision to engage in talks without any preconditions is a significant departure from the usual diplomatic protocols and signals a willingness to explore new avenues for peace and cooperation. This marks the most significant diplomatic development in the Taiwan Strait in over 70 years. The Taiwan Strait has been a focal point of tension and conflict, with both sides maintaining a delicate balance of power. The last time such a significant diplomatic effort was made, the world was a very different place, and the stakes were not as high as they are today. For decades, the region was a flashpoint, with the threat of conflict shaping global alliances and markets. The constant military presence and frequent drills have kept the world on edge, affecting not just regional stability, but also global economic conditions. The stock markets, particularly in Asia, have been highly sensitive to any developments in the Taiwan Strait, reflecting the broader implications of this geopolitical hotspot. Now a sudden pivot to dialogue signals a dramatic departure from years of tension and military posturing. This shift could pave the way for a new era of peace and stability in the region. The images of soldiers lowering their arms and leaders announcing diplomatic negotiations are powerful symbols of hope and change. It's a moment that many thought they would never see in their lifetimes. Taiwan's role as a global tech hub means this breakthrough impacts not just East Asia, but the entire world. The island is a critical player in the global supply chain, particularly in the semiconductor industry, which is the backbone of modern technology. Any disruption in Taiwan's tech sector could have far-reaching consequences, affecting everything from consumer electronics to advanced military systems. Therefore, the stability of Taiwan is of paramount importance to the global economy. Only months ago, military drills and harsh rhetoric dominated headlines. Today, powerful undercurrents, shifting public opinion, subtle U.S. policy changes, and Beijing's cost-benefit calculations have brought us to this historic moment. The change in public sentiment, both in Taiwan and China, has played a crucial role in creating an environment conducive to dialogue. Additionally, the United States, a key player in the region, has made subtle policy adjustments that have encouraged both sides to come to the negotiating table. The path ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in a generation, it leads away from the abyss of war. The peaceful sunrise over the Taiwan Strait and the hopeful faces of people watching the news are poignant reminders of what is at stake. While challenges remain, the empty military bases at sunset symbolize a new dawn of possibilities. The world watches with bated breath, hoping that this fragile peace will hold and lead to a more stable and prosperous future for all. To truly understand today's breakthrough moment between China and Taiwan, we need to look back, far beyond the headlines and into the complex, layered history that has shaped this standoff for decades. The roots of the China-Taiwan divide stretch deep into the 20th century, marked by war, revolution, and the struggle for legitimacy. The story begins with the collapse of imperial China, the rise of competing political visions, and the eventual eruption of civil war. In 1949, after years of brutal conflict, the Chinese Civil War ended with the Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, taking control of the mainland. The defeated nationalist government, under Chiang Kai-shek, retreated to the island of Taiwan, establishing a rival regime and setting the stage for decades of tension. Both governments claimed to be the sole legitimate representative of China, forcing countries around the world to make a difficult choice: recognize the People's Republic in Beijing, or the Republic of China in Taipei. This diplomatic tug-of-war shaped international relations throughout the Cold War and beyond. In 1971, the United Nations voted to recognize the People's Republic of China as the legitimate government, leading to Taiwan's diplomatic isolation. The United States and most other nations soon followed suit, leaving Taiwan with few official allies, but strong informal ties. Over the following decades, Taiwan underwent a remarkable transformation. Once ruled under martial law, it blossomed into a vibrant democracy with free elections, a dynamic economy, and a growing sense of Taiwanese identity, distinct from that of the mainland. This evolution only deepened the rift with authoritarian China. For Beijing, reunification with Taiwan remains a core national mission, an unfulfilled promise of the Communist Revolution. For many in Taiwan, however, the prospect of absorption by the mainland is seen as an existential threat to their freedoms and way of life. These entrenched positions, shaped by decades of conflict, diplomacy, and shifting identities, have defined the China-Taiwan relationship for generations, making compromise seem almost impossible. That's why today's diplomatic opening is so remarkable. It's not just a moment in the news, it's a rare glimmer of hope in a story shaped by deep historical wounds and enduring rivalries. Taiwan's position is a masterclass in diplomatic nuance. Leaders assert Taiwan is already a sovereign nation, the Republic of China, requiring no formal declaration of independence. This status quo approach preserves autonomy while avoiding Beijing's red lines. Any change to Taiwan's status would require a public referendum, reflecting the island's commitment to democracy. Taiwan seeks international space and support, especially from the US and other democracies, while carefully avoiding provocations. This strategy is both a political statement and a survival tactic, balancing peace with the right to self-determination. Today, Beijing's acceptance of talks marks a stunning shift after years of rejection. Beijing has broadened its definition of Taiwan independence, labeling even routine assertions of autonomy as separatist acts. The 2005 anti-secession law gives China a vague legal pretext for force, with ambiguity designed to maximize Beijing's leverage. New anti-separatism guidelines target not just Taiwanese leaders, but global actors engaging with Taiwan. Beijing's narrative control extends to misrepresenting UN Resolution 2758, blocking Taiwan from international bodies. This multi-pronged strategy, expanding definitions, legal ambiguity, and global pressure, has isolated Taiwan for years. Today's diplomatic overture is a radical departure from this established playbook. The world is watching to see if this signals a genuine change or a new tactic. The stakes for Taiwan's de facto independence have never been higher. Beneath the surface, Chinese public opinion has shifted. The 2025 Chinese Citizens Global Perception Survey revealed declining support for military action against Taiwan, especially among younger, urban and educated citizens. Support for peaceful diplomacy is rising, while mistrust of US involvement remains strong. This shift has given Beijing political space to pursue talks, framing dialogue as a proactive, all-Chinese solution. Analysts attribute this to rising education, global awareness, and anxiety over the costs of war. The new calculus direct talks with Taipei, sidelining Washington, and asserting regional leadership. The US has long played a pivotal, ambiguous role in the Taiwan Strait. In 2025, Washington subtly shifted its language, reaffirming the One China policy, but refusing to adopt Beijing's narrative or oppose Taiwan's independence outright. This stance amid Beijing's pressure signaled that coercion would not succeed and Taiwan would not be isolated. The US position created a diplomatic backstop, raising the costs of military action for China. This may have forced Beijing to reconsider its approach, opening the door to dialogue. The result, a rare window for diplomacy, with the US quietly shaping the conditions for peace. The announcement of direct talks has sent shockwaves through global politics and markets. For US allies like Japan and South Korea, the risk of regional war has receded, allowing renewed focus on cooperation. Markets surged, especially in the tech sector, as fears of a semiconductor supply crisis eased. In Taiwan, relief is mixed with skepticism. Many fear talks could be a Trojan horse for unification by other means. Globally, leaders hail the move as a victory for diplomacy, but remain wary of unresolved issues. The fundamental disagreements over sovereignty and identity persist. This is not the end, but the start of a high-stakes new chapter. The world watches, hoping this fragile peace can endure. Why did Beijing pivot now? The answer lies in a convergence of pressures. China's economy faces headwinds, demographic crisis, property collapse, and slowing growth, making war too risky. Shifting public opinion, especially among urban elites, has made diplomacy more palatable. The US and its allies have presented a united front, raising the costs of military action. Some analysts suspect a long-term strategy. If coercion failed, perhaps engagement can achieve unification by stealth. Is this a genuine search for peace, or a tactical shift? That question will define the talks ahead. The world's eyes are on Beijing and Taipei as they navigate this uncertain path. The world stands at a crossroads as Beijing and Taipei begin direct talks. This historic moment marks the first time in decades that both sides have come together to discuss their future. The stakes are incredibly high, and the eyes of the world are fixed on these negotiations. Relief is widespread, but the journey ahead is fraught with unresolved issues: sovereignty, ideology, and trust. The complexities of these discussions cannot be overstated. Each side has deeply entrenched positions that will require significant compromise and understanding. Decades of hostility won't vanish overnight. Every move will be scrutinized for hidden motives. Skepticism runs deep, and both nations must navigate a minefield of historical grievances and political pressures. The path to peace is not just about high-level talks, but also about building trust at every level of society. The international community must support dialogue based on equality and peaceful resolution, with Taiwan's people at the center. Global powers have a role to play in ensuring that these talks are fair and productive, providing a balanced platform for both sides to voice their concerns and aspirations. Economic and diplomatic levers remain crucial to keep talks on track and military options off the table. The economic interdependence of China and Taiwan can serve as a stabilizing factor, encouraging both sides to seek peaceful solutions that benefit their economies and their people. This is a call to global citizens: stay informed, support dialogue, and resist complacency. Public opinion can influence the course of these talks, and it is essential for people around the world to engage with the process, advocating for peace and understanding. The first step toward lasting peace has been taken, but the outcome remains uncertain. The road ahead is long and filled with potential pitfalls, but the commitment to dialogue is a hopeful sign. It is a fragile peace, but one that holds the promise of a brighter future. The world is watching, hoping this new dawn fulfills its promise. As these talks progress, the international community remains vigilant, ready to support and encourage a peaceful resolution. The hope is that this moment will be the beginning of a new era of cooperation and mutual respect.